Working in Florida is very rough.
It's not that bad.
I think I've lost 5 to 10 pounds just from moving stuff in and out of the house.
Why have I gained 5 to 10 pounds?
Because I'm moving all the stuff.
So true.
You just sit there and you point.
That goes there.
No, I don't like it there. Pick it back up. Bring it that way. See what
Funny because
happens?
it's true. I think that's how
Oh,
it's
man. Welcome to Hot Marriage, Cool Parents.
Welcome to Hot Marriage, Cool Parents. I'm your host, Jamie Otis Hehner.
And I'm Douglas Hehners.
Yes, and we are so pumped to be back to the podcast. So I had so much fun because last week we put out to leave like any of your questions over on our Instagram page, Hot Marriage, Cool Parents. And we got...
Did we get questions?
Yeah, we got
did?
so many good questions and so many people reached out. And I love you for that. Thank you so much. So this week's going to be really fun because I always write down like a little list of the things we're going to update you on. And so first thing is Doug had his last shot, which is a ginormous milestone. And I'm so proud of you, Doug.
Well, thank you. So for anybody just catching up, you can go back a couple episodes, but I was on this journey to get off Suboxone, which is a medication that keeps you from withdrawal. It also helps you with opioid dependence, but you get addicted to it.
Yeah.
And so I found out about this Sublocade shot, which is an injection in the stomach, and you do one each month. And the idea is, and the way studies have gone, after 3 to 4 shots, you can completely come off of it, and there's very little withdrawals. There's no other tapering or weaning off. So just a couple days ago, I had my very last shot, and it was the worst one out of all of them.
It was? You didn't tell me that.
Because, well, it was just pain-wise. So the medication has to get delivered, and then it has to be refrigerated.
Okay.
So it didn't get delivered until late. Normally, they'll leave it out to get to room temperature before they put it, before they inject you. This time, they didn't have that much time. So, so it hurt a little bit. So it was
cold when it went in.
It was cold, and it stung, and there's a little lump in my belly.
I want to feel. Oh.
I got a Band-Aid over it, though.
Show everyone who's watching on YouTube. Oh, yeah, I feel that. Wow. Yeah, I do feel that.
For anybody listening in their car, Jamie's rubbing my stomach.
Sorry. Yeah, he didn't. Yeah. He had this shot yesterday, and I haven't even seen his belly. Oh, yeah, it was yesterday. Yeah, show people on YouTube. I don't think they can see.
I got a Band-Aid on. I can't really show them. Ow!
It's okay, Dad. Don't. Oh, ow. He just ripped the Band-Aid off with the hair.
I don't think you can see anyway.
Okay, you can just say.
It's right here.
Just giving everyone a show. FYI, you know that we record these super raw and real. So our kids are out with the sweet girl who is like one of Henry's.
Babysits.
Yeah, who babysits them. She's like one of the dance instructors there. And so she's, doing her best to contain them. But
you may hear them.
Yeah, you're probably going to hear them.
In the background.
And then also our dog's in here. She's literally looking at her father like, why aren't you picking me up to put me on your lap? I think
she's just staring at me.
Yeah, Lady has been, fun fact, Lady, I had, I adopted her 1 year before Doug and I got married. So she has been a part of our marriage, and she's like the only constant in our marriage that we've had. Like we've
other
moved,
than us,
we've had cars, we've had, we've done all sorts of different things, but Lady has been the constant since day one in our marriage.
She's moved with us 10 times.
Pick her up. Yeah, she really has. I mean, we really have.
She wants to go for a walk. That's why she's looking at me. Oh, yeah.
She probably has to go poopy. Well, she's going to have to wait a minute because we have some girlfriends to talk to.
Oh, yeah. Well, before that, we always give a 5-star shout out. So anybody that leaves us a review, we love reading your comments, and we read them all, but we pick out one for the week. And this one comes from Erin NSBFL, and the FL makes me think that maybe she's from Florida.
I think so.
Or it's Easy 82012.
Okay. Let's just read it.
All right. I have had a personal journey of emotional and mental healing with amazing counselors over the years. Just listening to your latest episode published August 2nd, 2023, you talk about sharing your insecurities and flaws and how it can help you connect to those who become your people. I went through this and have found you cannot have connection with other people without vulnerability. True. I yearned for connection for many years, but always fell short, fearing opening myself to potential criticism or somehow my flaws being held against me. But once I started sharing with my spouse, friends, and family, I was so embraced and even inspired. I was so embraced and even inspired change in a few of their lives. I've broken so many cycles and found so much contentment and love on the other side of sharing my story, of being vulnerable. When I heard y'all talking, I knew exactly what you were describing. Trust that your instincts to share are helping others, breaking cycles, and obliterating stigmas.
Dang.
Which summarizes a lot of our podcasts.
Yeah, but like first and foremost,
Awesome, Erin.
Proud of you.
Yeah, good for you.
For breaking those cycles and for getting the strength and the courage to
That's
opening
an
up.
amazing story. That's
really hard to do. It sounds easy if you're just talking about it, but like in actuality, like and in reality, it's really hard to open up because of course you're scared of other. I mean, we're humans, and
not really for you.
Oh no, Doug, it is.
Well, no,
for
there's a difference between being overly honest and being vulnerable and sharing your what's inside of you, because you were overly honest, and that's not necessarily being vulnerable.
Yeah, that's true. And also that's like so loaded, because I feel like being overly honest also comes from maybe being a little insecure, and I feel like I was overly honest with you, but am I overly honest with I don't know, like a peer or someone who I'm trying to impress, which you would think I'm trying to impress my husband, but I'm talking about from the I'm not always overly honest with them. As a matter of fact, I'm scared to be honest with them because I don't want them to judge me. I knew you liked me, so it was easy to be overly honest with you. But it's not easy to like break the cycles and whatnot. So Erin, I'm so proud of you, because it's not easy and it is scary. And maybe I make it seem like it's easy for me, but it's not always easy for me either.
Well,
it's sometimes very difficult for me also.
Yeah. It's very difficult for me. It's awkward for me to try to open up how do you be open and vulnerable to someone that's sort of new, when you're trying to meet friends and make connections, it's like, when do you become vulnerable?
Yeah.
And when do you become open?
That's a great question.
It's hard for me to be vulnerable, like with family members,
let alone people who you're trying to be friends with that you just met.
Exactly. But it is becoming more, I am becoming more comfortable speaking to my issues and being vulnerable and showing my emotions, or at least saying them. It is becoming easier.
Yeah. I
don't feel as numb to like everything. Like I'm starting to care about things and
Wait, you really felt numb to everything before?
Well, almost, like, because when you block out any emotion, or when you block out being vulnerable, or avoiding difficult conversations, you don't have any deep emotions.
You have never really had deep emotions. That is very true. You've always been like, just like constant.
Always even keel.
And I'm like, hey, I'm feeling great. Oh, I'm feeling real bad right now. Hey, I'm feeling great.
Yeah, you are a roller coaster ride. But I love being on you.
Oh, okay. Touche. I mean, we do have 2 children, so you can't hate it too much.
That is true.
You've got me knocked up a couple times here.
Well, let's
more than just a couple.
Maybe we should tell them about baby number 3. There isn't one yet.
I was gonna say, you make it sound like we have a baby number 3.
But we just got our bed in our bedroom.
Yes, we just have. So now we finally have our bedroom. Oh my gosh, as long as we've lived in this house, which is now about 2 months, we've lived into what we're calling our forever home, which I'm like, never say never, but because
it is slowly getting renovated.
Yeah, it is slowly getting renovated. We have not had our bedroom. And so just today we got a light fixture in our bedroom, and we got our bed officially in the spot where it's going to go. And that feels so darn good. We've been sleeping, like, whether it's on the couch or the guest room or a mattress on the floor, like we've been sleeping.
According to the circuit breaker box, we've been sleeping in the nanny's quarters.
Oh, is that what
that's how it's labeled? Nanny's quarters.
Yeah, the woman who owned this house before us had an au pair, and she had a nanny, so that's where the nanny's
and we ripped
quarters.
out all of her carpeting, and we said, you know what, we're not gonna throw all of our money into the renovation and get it done right away. We're going to take it slow and go project to project.
Yeah.
And we decided that for the floors that had carpeting, we were just going to take out the carpet and then paint the floors.
Just until we have time.
Yeah, I was very skeptical.
Yeah. This was my Oh, this was my idea. Because,
totally your idea.
Yeah.
Because I was like, paint the floors. Who paints the floors?
Yeah, I know that sounds very weird. But the reason that we painted the floors
But
is
it makes
because
sense.
I was really scared to rush all these big projects. Because we haven't even lived in this house, and they say you should live in the house for like a year or two before you go making any big changes, because you want to make sure, oh, I need an outlet there. Oh, I need a cupboard here. Like, you don't really know that when you haven't lived in the space.
And we've never done that before.
Yeah, we've never done that.
Never moved into a house. Even with our New Jersey house, we didn't do any major renovations.
No way.
When we moved to Florida, we bought that house as a house that we were going to possibly rent or Airbnb, and we ended up living in it. And we didn't even do any major construction to that other than taking down some trees.
Well, for whatever reason, we did.
Oh, and the flooring.
We did the floors.
The whole floors.
And there was a weird angled counter. For those of you who follow me on Instagram, you already know all this because you probably saw it, because I share everything on Instagram. And we're starting to share on YouTube as well, which is really fun, because Instagram goes away. And so then I'm like, I'm sharing all this stuff and it's all going away. And primarily the reason that I want to get onto YouTube with that is because I share on stories a lot on Instagram, and then they go away after 24 hours. But I'm like, my children are growing so fast. And then that just disappears after 24 hours. And I don't have any of that. Like I got to start sharing someplace else where it stays longer, because I don't want that to disappear. I mean, not to change subject from the house to kids, but so I'll finish real fast the topic of the house. So I decided that first of all, our budget we can't afford to go and renovate this house like from top to bottom. This is the most expensive home I've ever I couldn't even imagine.
It's a lot
buying.
of floor.
Yeah. And it's a lot of floor. So we decided that we were going to paint the floor, like kind of seal the floor with paint. And it's not just any paint, it's like concrete paint. And we're just going to put area rugs down. And then from there, we can live in the space for like a year or so, and then start kind of planning the big renovations, like with the bathroom. Like right now we're changing light fixtures and painting and doing all those, but like the big things are going to be the bathrooms, because we're going to be really changing our bathroom. I want to add a washer and a dryer for sure in our bathroom, so that we can have one kind of in the living area. And then hopefully we're having a baby again soon.
And we're doing a lot of it ourselves. And with help, obviously,
with
but we have a phenomenal handyman that killed it.
Most amazing
the house.
handyman ever.
He's been ridiculous. Yeah, we lucked out with him.
He is trustworthy, which is first and foremost the most important thing. He is amazing, but also
it's not very common to find someone that you trust to do construction in your house when you're not there.
Well, I don't want to like throw that stereotype out because that doesn't seem very fair or nice, but we just, there's not common to find anybody that you can just trust in your house, whether it's a handyman or someone who's helping you clean or someone with your kids. I mean, it's hard to find people that you can trust. So when you do, you hold on to them tight and you treat them good. And and he is someone that we trust. I mean, we left all the time and he would just be painting or, doing whatever he's doing. And he's just amazing. So we decided to paint the floors, and we're going to kind of just continue to do small projects before. And then next summer, maybe when the kids are like, we might leave for a little while and then I'm not sure when we're going to do that, to be very honest. But needless to say, moving on to the kids, because this week was Henley's. What's the matter, Doug?
No, my leg.
He had this.
It's like a spasm.
We landed in the urgent care last week because he has this spasm in his leg.
I don't know. It's, I found out that it's inflammation in some nerve that's in my groin area, and you get it from like bending over and lifting. And so I went to urgent care. I got a steroid shot in my butt and some muscle relaxers, and it helped, and it's getting a little bit better, but it's weird. It caused like my whole outer leg to be numb. Like when your foot falls asleep, that type of numb where you can kind of feel it, but then it tingles, and it's just, it's miserable.
Yeah.
I can't sit down. I have to like stand up. It doesn't hurt when I stand up and walk. It just hurts when I sit.
Yeah, that's awful. I feel really bad.
But it's fine. Yeah.
There's like nothing I can really do except from...
No, and you were really loving and caring, and you helped me put on my sock one day.
Yeah, because he couldn't.
I couldn't bend over to
put
my sock on.
That's like the side note of if you've had an addiction to opioids. So the doctor obviously knows what medications he's on.
Oh yeah,
and so so there's obviously a stigma a little bit associated with that, because you don't you don't know if this person is.
Well, you got to be aware of it. You got to make sure you mention it right from the start. Like, you can't have opioids. You can't.
Yeah. And so when you're in pain like this, like probably a doctor would prescribe a little Vicodin or something, you know, some sort of opioid or narcotic of some sort to just like a little stronger than Tylenol. Yeah. To like help relieve the pain. But with Doug, like all he can ever take is ibuprofen or Tylenol. Yeah.
They said an anti-inflammatory is best. The doctor actually told me that Tylenol is
not going to work. Oh, okay.
So, but anyway.
Well, that's good to know because it makes sense. You have inflammation, so anti-inflammatory. But yeah, so that's like just a small, I guess, caveat about the whole addiction issue and whatnot is that then you do have a little bit of, but I hope that it's something that you don't feel any shame or you don't feel the stigma because you.
I have an issue with it. You know, like I won't, like I already know that.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is like, if you feel like embarrassed and scared and ashamed of it when you go into the doctor's office and they find like, when, for example, the urgent care, you don't know this doctor. So you have to talk to someone new about your history and whatnot. And if you're like, oh, like, you know, like that puts power onto that. Whereas if you just flat out say it and just let it be, there's way less power or shame associated with it. Like you get to choose that.
Yeah, I don't feel that anymore.
That's amazing. Like you get to choose that.
Yeah.
So if you're hiding something or it doesn't matter what it is, like, because even if it's not something that you should even feel shame about, for example, like if you're on a diet, quote unquote, this is just something that I know from my own personal life. And then you eat a piece of cake and then you feel, oh, I feel so good. I ate a piece of cake. It's like, don't put that shame on yourself. It's completely unnecessary. That's like a random side note, but it's true. Like anything that you put that shame on, well, you are giving it that power. Take that power back and be confident and bold and just, you know, if you're having a piece of cake, have a freaking piece of cake and enjoy it.
Well, it's like there was one kid in high school. Everybody slowly started to know this, but his initials were JJ. I don't want to call him out, but he had these overgrown nipples. Like they were hormonal nipples where they actually they stuck out on a guy. They stuck out like I think it was like 1.5 inches like out, and he was a really skinny dude. And he would wear 3 shirts. He always wore 3 t-shirts to school every day. And slowly people started to find out about it. And then one day he was just like, you know, F it. I'm done with this. And that's putting, that's the power that you're talking about.
That's exactly it.
You're giving that particular flaw power over you and you're adjusting your life according to it. And that is when it gets really tough mentally.
Yes. And that's when you start to feel that shame and the guilt and the just bad feelings when you know, if the dude just starts wearing 1 t-shirt and he's like, yep, my nipples are large.
Yeah. Any dudes out there, if you have enlarged nipples,
or any women,
shine.
Any breastfeeding moms, I don't know. I'm like, you're talking about large nipples. I'm like, my areola have grown slowly with each baby. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do about this.
Yeah. Your areolas with Hendrix are way bigger than Henley's.
Yeah, they really were. And they haven't really shrunk all the way back, but they did shrink some. So, you know, we'll see. But moving on to, how did we get onto areolas? Oh my goodness gracious.
Good for us.
Yeah. But no, that's right. Like, it's like the power, like don't allow whatever it is that you're ashamed of, don't allow it to have that power over you. And if you know that it's something that's truly wrong, like for example, or truly bad for you or truly an issue, for example, your opioid addiction, then take control because you have that power to take control and do something about it.
Yeah.
Or
that also ties into Erin, the 5-star review that we read earlier, because when you share those things with people are going to open up and feel like it's a safe space to talk about their flaws or to talk about their insecurities or not worry so much about their insecurities around you. And that's where connections happen.
That's exactly it. So, you know, a side note on that, I love when we just sit and chat and we're just, I hope you're enjoying our conversation with you because
we're going to get to your questions.
Yeah, soon. we have a whole, that's the next thing I'm going to talk about was I wanted to talk about Henley's first week of school and then also the Q&As. But side note on that, moving here to Sarasota and having friends, and I realized that like this city, there are just like any other city, there are some very affluent areas, and there are other areas that are just normal, like modest working families. And I've always related with like poverty and the poor families, just because that's how I grew up. And so then, becoming a nurse and kind of coming out of poverty and becoming middle class, like I try to relate with that and like work hard for that. And I feel like a little bit of that keeping up the Jones thing, and then we moved to Sarasota, and there's so many affluent, like really like wealthy people around here. And so I felt like, I don't know, I felt like moving into this house for a hot minute, I felt like it's not good enough because, it's very 90s, and it's very, well, there was literally pee on the carpet, whether you live in a trailer park or you live in a mansion.
Yep,
like
pee is pee.
Pee is pee, and that's just kind of gross. And so I was like, I don't know. I just found myself wanting to, I don't know, prove that I am worthy, I think, or something. And so that's another thing, that you can let go of the power when you just embrace exactly where you're at now. So whether it's you're in the trailer park, which I've been there, and I didn't embrace it at the time, which is quite sad. And if I could go back and tell myself as a little girl or my siblings, I would say, first of all, whether you're here forever or not, this is your home, and you've worked really, really hard for this home, and you deserve to be proud of this home, because I owned that trailer.
Yeah, you
and
did.
I was only 20 something, like 21 maybe, when I like bought it. Granted, I bought it from student loans, but still I owned it. But what the point of the matter is also, when you open up, like I didn't want to invite people over to our house. We're renovating it. There was pee on the floor at one point, that wasn't even from our own dog.
You didn't want to tell Ben from The Bachelor where you grew up?
Yeah, I did not tell Ben from The Bachelor where I grew up. He, to this day, I have no idea if he knows anything about me, and I gave him a lap dance and kissed him awkwardly. So we got closer that way, but I didn't ever want to open up and share that. And what I found is that when you do open that up and show those types of things, like for example, we're living in a construction zone. Who cares? Like someone else who might be living in a construction zone will be like, oh, thank God I can invite you over too. Like you're not going to judge me for it. Like be careful not to try to keep up with the Joneses all the time, because the Joneses are broke. I mean, they're looking like they're living large, probably because a lot of them have credit card debt and whatnot. It's okay to be exactly where you're at, doing whatever it is you're doing, and in striving for more. Like you do want to try to better yourself all the time, but it's okay to be living in a construction zone, as long as of course that's like safe for your children. It's okay. And then, or like if your house is a mess, like sometimes my house is such a mess. I mean, I'll have laundry out for days, and I'm scared to let someone.
Not since I became a stay-at-home dad.
That is not true. That is not true. I love you to death, but I wouldn't
I got good
say.
at folding.
Yeah, but it still sits out. You're not very good at taking care of it.
Only recently.
Okay, we'll fight about that later. No, you do a great job helping keep the house clean. You really, really do. But it's not to my level that I would like.
Gotcha.
And that's not your fault. I mean, it's okay. I'm not like trying to, but I just would love like the counters to be completely empty and sparkling clean, not a dish in sight, fresh flowers, no laundry whatsoever anywhere other than either on the hangers or in the drawers. And I want the drawers to be, I don't know, I love that feeling of cleanliness and order and organization. And I don't want to invite people over unless I have it, because then I'm like, okay, we're here. I'm proud. Like, look at how clean. But
you'll never have people over then.
Exactly. And then also, no one's ever going to invite you over, because
Right.
if they think that you keep a house like a certain way and you're judging, they might just think that you're judging them. And it's like, it's okay to have a speck of dust.
It doesn't make it wrong if you have a really clean house.
As a matter of fact, I really respect you. I'm like, you must not have kids. And if you do have kids, well then can you DM me and teach me how you do that?
Yeah.
Because holy crap, it is so hard after having kids to have a clean house. But the point of the story is that if you open up your doors to where any of your little bit of untidinesses or dirtiness or what could be shame, you will see that you are not the only person like that, and you will have your people. Like you might not you might be the only person like that right now in your circle. And so that's when you need to open those doors to let someone else into your circle who is like that can relate with you, who you can jive with. And then that takes all the pressure off you, because then you find your people who are like, I get you, I understand you, I'm like you. And that's where real growth happens, I feel like. But going back real fast to this week, because Henley Grace had her first week of first grade. And
she looked fantastic.
Thank you. I planned that whole outfit.
You killed it.
Thank you.
Most of her outfits are secondhand.
Oh, I'm really proud of that.
And she looks stunning. The hair, the outfit fit perfect. The boots, the socks. Like, she has to wear a uniform to school.
Yeah.
But this year, Jamie took Henley shopping for really fun, like almost leggings, but they're socks.
They're
big,
knee-high socks.
fun socks.
Yeah. And she loves them.
She loves them.
Yeah. So we got her, she wears a uniform, and I really want her to be able to express herself. And she's such a girly girl, and there's nothing wrong with, whatever kind of personality you like, but she loves unicorns and hearts and flowers and pink and purple. And, she's just so into that. And so this year,
she's got a good swing though. She does.
Yeah, she does have
I've been teaching her to hit off the tee. She's got a good swing.
Doug can't wait for her to play softball. I'm telling you.
She's ready.
She is ready. I think that this year we probably will. We've signed her up for gymnastics, and I think she's going to really excel all day, every day. The kid is doing flips and cartwheels.
Now she does one-arm cartwheels all over the house.
She's so cute. Yeah. But point of that story is that I just really got in my head, and I guess like in my emotions, with her starting first grade, because I started looking at like older pictures with her, and it's like every stage that we ever were with her. So like, imagine like whenever she was a baby, it's like I never imagined that stage to end. And then all of a sudden it was gone, and she was like toddling around. And then I never imagined that stage was going to end. Like, when you're in the stage, you don't imagine it slipping right from your hands. But then before you know it, it's gone, and she's talking and telling us like no. And I'm like, wait a minute, where'd this stage come from?
Negotiating and bartering and
yes. And right now we're in the stage of her being a first grader, and her starting to have her own little opinions about her socks and like what she, like her shoes, and what she wants, if she wants a bow in her hair or not. And
yeah,
I'm like, oh my gosh. If
first grade is a lot different than kindergarten.
Yeah,
like
it really
the
is.
label of a first grader as opposed to kindergarten seems so different.
Yeah. It's like, she's a big girl now. And it's like, she's still a little girl. Let's not.
I was really proud of her though, because she didn't cry. She didn't give any qualms about going into a new class.
Well, I'm proud of her for that too, but I also wouldn't be disappointed if she had, because it's okay to cry, and it would be understandable, but it was so bittersweet, because of course, like as a mommy, I'm like, oh, I want her to want me, but and to need me. But really, our jobs as parents is to prep them and to prepare them to go out on their own, where they don't need you. They can want you. And of course, she's so little. She still needs
Whenever we
us.
dropped Henley off at a sitter or preschool or daycare, I had to do it.
Yeah. Because
Jamie didn't want to see Henley crying for her and reaching out for her while she was leaving, dropping her off.
I would just melt. I would then never go, and that is the truth. Even with dance last year, it was her first time ever going to a dance class, and she would hang onto my legs. And so it's a little bittersweet when I dropped her off on her first day. Doug stayed in the car with Hendrix, and I walked her into her classroom, and she just sat down, and I was like, what? I'm like,
okay, see you later.
And I'm just like lingering, and like, I should just go because my daughter's okay. But I'm like, what?
It is kind of neat though, because she only has, I think, 2 or 3 kids from her kindergarten class in there.
Just 2.
So not only is she going to make some new friends, but it seems like Jamie and I are going to start making new friends.
Yeah, which is
great.
really exciting.
Yeah.
Well, before we get going too far, we should absolutely do the Q's and A's that we had promised. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for sending in your questions because it feels good. Like this podcast, it's obviously like a little bit of marriage therapy for Doug and I. It's like the one time that we get to sit down and actually talk to each other, but it's also the best way to be able to connect with you listening, like truly. Like this podcast, it means nothing without you. Like you are the whole purpose that we're even here. And so I want to be able to chat with you more and just have like a stronger community with you. And so we're going to bring back posting on Hot Marriage Cool Parents Instagram page and like slowly because we are just also like, we don't have a whole team of people helping us, which
other than the Family Made media team.
Oh yes. Speaking of that, Family Made, who we have kind of partnered with for our podcast,
if you like,
phenomenal.
If you're enjoying our show, check out any of the shows
on Family Made Media. Is
even Never TMI, which we spoke with Seth and Jacqueline
just last episode. Oh yeah, I love their name, Never TMI. And as a matter of fact,
everybody we've met from Family Made Media. It seems like we're like friends with now.
Oh, I love them all. Like the Willardsons. They're all amazing. But yeah, so a little shout out for Family Made Media because they're awesome. And so if you're looking for more content that is just like real and raw and awesome, check out anybody from Family Made Media.
Yeah, and Andrew East, the greatest long snapper that ever played.
Okay, Douglas.
You're welcome.
But what I was trying to say is, yes, we are the only way we were going to bring back the podcast, because it was on a little hiatus there for a while. The only way we were going to bring it back is if we made sure that we weren't going to have to edit the podcast. We used to edit these all by ourselves, or we'd have, we would hire, like Diana was with us, but Diana's not with us now. And so I'm like, I can't take on another task because we have so much going on right now between home renovation, start living in a brand new community where we know no one, taking care of our kids, trying to conceive another baby. I'm like, we can't take on another task. I want the podcast back. I absolutely love this podcast, being able to connect with you, Doug. Like, I feel like we connect really well on the podcast, but I also like having like guests on, and I also love connecting with you listening. Like truly, there's something interesting about being like a quote unquote social media presence or TV personality, or because like, people feel like they know you, but, and you do, know so much about us because we're very open, but I want to know you too. Like, I want to be able to like hug you when I see you on the street. Like, I just want to be able to connect with you more myself. And so it's almost
You've made a lot of connections from.
Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? Well, my whole team is from Instagram. Like my whole team now that I've hired, and even Diana.
A lot of our friends down here too, though.
Oh yeah. And our friends too, like not for nothing. And that's exactly what I mean. I want to get to know you listening, because that's how I'm making all my friends.
Yeah. If you're in the Sarasota area, hit us up.
Yeah. But, needless to say, what were we going to say?
And let us know if you're a babysitter. What? But no, and I totally agree. So the way that I see the questions, because I love when you guys do submit questions, because it gives us.
Before we go there, let's give a shout out to our sponsor real fast, because I really want to thank them for sponsoring the show, because obviously if it wasn't for them, this show wouldn't exist. So, because like there's just not a way we can't, it would put us under if we didn't. Yeah, if it wasn't for them, the show wouldn't exist.
It would put us under.
It would put us under. I mean, it's expensive to go through all of the things of, putting this out there. So we're thankful for our sponsors.
Yeah, I think now is a great time to give a shout out to our friends over at Needed.
A lot of times when we talk about trying to conceive and being on a fertility journey, the fertility burden too often falls solely on a woman.
I mean, think about when we went to the specialist. You got like 20 different blood tests, and I just had one sperm sample.
Yeah, it's true. And now we're excited to have the Needed products to feel more confident and prepared for what's ahead.
Right. So fertility is not a one-sided issue. Sperm health matters, and its impact on conception and a healthy pregnancy is often overlooked.
Yeah, Needed Sperm Support Plus is a game changer when it comes to male fertility by targeting sperm health, testosterone levels, and microbiome balance.
And that's just one of the innovative and effective products Needed offers to support couples on their journey to conceive during pregnancy, all the way through until postpartum. And it's nice to know that there's so much thought put into these products. For men who are trying to conceive and want to be proactive,
or for you ladies who want your partner to play an active and equal role in their fertility journey,
and want to optimize their chances of successful conception and a healthy pregnancy, go to thisisneeded.com and use the code HMCP for 20% off your first order.
That's THISISNEED.com. wholeheartedly.com and use the code HMCP for 20% off your first order.
So thankful for our sponsors, truly, because it keeps this podcast rolling. But now we are getting to dun 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 your questions. And
I feel like this is a great way to direct the conversation to what you want, to what you're interested in. And I always like the surprise of the questions. I don't read the questions beforehand that you guys submit. So it's always brand new to me.
Okay, so Michelle Zerba says, still dying to know what Doug's chest tattoo means. Love you guys. You are both such strong individuals and even stronger together. Funniest thing. I know. Funniest thing about this tattoo.
Here we are bragging about there's no topic that we won't discuss.
That's really funny. Yeah, Doug, you know what, Doug, I was thinking this the other day, which is a very morbid thought, but I was like, what if you go before I go? Am I ever allowed to share about what your tattoo means, or do I have to take that to the grave with me? Because I feel honored to know what his tattoo means. I don't know how many people know what it means. It's like a very personal thing for him.
I think there's only 5 people on the planet Earth that know.
And I get to be one of them. I feel so honored.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool that you have like your own thing and you just don't share.
And so it's mirrored. So if you were looking at it,
if you're on YouTube, you got to show them. This is the tattoo. Yeah, you can see it.
Okay.
This is the tattoo that everyone's talking about.
So each letter stands for a word, and it's mirrored. So when I look in the mirror, it looks like it's written out the right way.
Otherwise, it looks like it's just like gibberish on a chest.
So I will leave it as this: the top part, the last, let me say. So I'll do this. I'll give away the first word.
Really?
And first letter.
Why?
Oh, I won't.
I almost feel honored that I know, but what I wanted to know.
It's something it's something that's for me, or at least it was for me to look at.
When did you get that tattoo?
I got it in college.
Oh, so this was before?
So right before I graduated college.
Well, I want to know, was it before the addiction or during the addiction? After the addiction?
It was after, but I mean, considered like in between.
So it was during then?
Yeah.
Like you were already addicted?
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah. So it was.
That's actually surprising and not shocking. I mean, it makes sense to me. Because you were probably very depressed while you were addicted, is my guess.
Yeah.
Were you? Would you say?
No. But like, I mean, the underlying part of it is depressing. In college, I wasn't depressed.
While you were addicted, though, I'm talking about. Like,
right. While you're addicted,
you must be depressed. I mean, you're constantly searching for a high, but I don't want to like speak for you. I have no idea.
Yeah, no. Because like when you're in the beginning of it, when you first start, it's fun. It's fun for a while. When you can function.
I guess that makes sense. That's why people get hooked on it.
When you can function with it, it's not seen as an issue.
So did you get that while you were functioning with it, or did you get it while like
it was kind of a time where I had stopped using. Oh. So it was like after that.
And then you started using it again then?
Yeah, like a year later or however long after. Yeah. But like while you're going and while it's available, you're not depressed.
Gotcha.
But afterwards, once I graduated college and after I had a girlfriend, I think for 1 or 2 years after college, or we were together for maybe 3 or 4 years. But so that wasn't depressing. But the second time that I got hooked again and everything else, that was a depressing thing. But I wish I could answer that.
Well, do you want to? You can if you want to.
That would
be a big reveal for the podcast.
So the last letter on the line number 2, which is a T, stands for top. You're welcome.
Now it's just more of a puzzle. But okay, but serious question for me though is like, God forbid you die. Can I tell people what that meant or no?
If people are still interested.
I'm sure they would be. I don't know. I would be interested. Like it's now it's like, I can't believe it's
If I die before you, I am putting it out there that someone needs to say it at the obituary.
Oh, of course. That's a good point. Oh my gosh, I want to talk about this. This is why we love your questions, because it made me think of something.
Yeah. Way later though.
Do you want to be cremated or not? Or like buried?
I thought I wanted to be cremated. And this is going to sound weird, but the reason why I don't want to be cremated is if in the future
I knew
there's
you were going to say you want to be like frozen or something.
If there's a way to bring you back, whether it's through DNA or something, I want that possibility.
Okay, so now you don't want to be cremated?
So yeah, so I don't want to be cremated.
So I should mummify you if you were to go.
I want to be mummified.
Well, do you want to know if any of my wishes if I was to go first?
Sure.
Okay. I want to be frozen, I think.
Do we have a will?
We do. We don't really talk. We didn't talk about whether or not we want to be cremated or anything like that, though.
I think we did.
We did?
Yeah, I think in the thing that we went through, I don't know.
I mean, I personally think that I think your body is just your body and your soul is completely separate, and your soul will live on and your body is just a body. And so
just a vessel. Yeah,
I genuinely believe that, because that's like, I can feel that.
Yeah.
But
if there's a chance in the future to bring people back to life, they're not going to be able to bring back cremated people.
Well, if their soul is still alive, that soul could go into a different body. Okay. And so you might not recognize it as the same person, but it's a different body. Have you ever seen, this is like far-fetched and way out there, but have you ever seen like on YouTube, like children who remember like past lives? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I don't believe it.
I don't know what I think of it, but okay, let's go to our next question.
I wonder, is it more common to be cremated than to be buried?
I think at this point it's way more common.
I bet you it's
cheaper.
Yeah, I bet you it's cheaper.
It's way cheaper to be cremated. I actually don't know if I want to be buried would you want like open casket or closed casket?
It depends on how I die.
Yeah. If you look okay, then open. If not, same.
I mean, I would say either or.
If I was like half eaten by a grizzly bear, then
so if it's
keep it open, and
if it's the bottom half, keep it open. If it's the top half, don't.
Yeah.
Do you want the bottom half to be shown and the top half to be closed casket?
I don't actually even know. These are such hard questions because I have no idea. Like, I think if I look okay, we'll keep it open. If I don't, close it.
Got it.
But I don't know. I used to think, for one thing's for sure, I am an organ donor. So I guess if I'm an organ donor, I may as well just get cremated. I mean, what's the point of keeping the body if the heart's not even there, or like, my intestines, or who knows what they're going to take? My eyeball socket. Like they might.
Still want to be. I don't want to be cremated.
Okay, so you don't want to be cremated now. Mm-mm. You want to be buried, and you are still an organ donor.
I think so. It was on my New Jersey license. I'm assuming it's on my Florida license.
It is on, because we just got our Florida licenses recently. Yeah. So I also want to be an organ donor. I would love to be able to help someone if I could. And as a matter of fact, I mean, it's too bad I couldn't know who I was helping, but it'd be so cool to know that. Okay, moving on to the next question. We are already 45 minutes into this, and we've gotten one question, but this is great. So Ashley Robinson, 1722, asks, will you ever be back on TV doing anything with Married at First Sight? Y'all are one of my favorites.
I feel like I remember. Is Ashley Robinson I feel like I've seen her. Yeah.
Yeah, she's probably commented. She's commented a few times. So thank you for hanging with us. Sometimes we start to recognize your handles because you reach out so often. So thank you for that.
I think that we are always going to be in the Married at First Sight universe.
Oh, absolutely. We were the first couple to get married.
Even what Jamie had gone through with Unfiltered and being let go, I understand it's business, but she literally started that show. Like, she was the creator of that show.
I wouldn't say I was
10 seasons.
I would say I was the creator.
Not the creator, but you carried that show. And
I did enjoy that show. It was
since
great.
then, they've gone through, I mean, you went 10 seasons.
Yeah.
How many seasons are there? 15? No, I think they've had a different person each season after that.
I don't know. We haven't followed it that
But
well.
Married at First Sight specials and things, like we just did the Decision Day Dish, and we're always open and available for anything Married at First Sight, because I mean that's the
how we
birthplace
met.
of
Yeah,
us.
we'll forever be grateful and thankful to Married at First Sight for bringing us together, and
Yes,
obviously
and we
for
will
our children.
always, and what we told them too is we will always do whatever they need whenever they ask.
Yeah, we will, because we are genuinely very thankful for them. However, we are absolutely setting our horizons way larger than kind of being confined to the Married at First Sight box. I feel like we've been confined to that box for a very long time. We had been offered different TV shows at different points throughout our marriage, and we've had to turn them down because they wouldn't allow us, because contractually we were obligated to Married at First Sight world, essentially. And so while we are so thankful and we love them, and we obviously wouldn't be here, so we'll forever have gratitude and thankfulness, we are putting it out into the universe that we have broadened our horizons, and we are turning down opportunities that have kind of confined us into a box. And so if a contract is going to confine us into a box, then we have said no to those contracts, because that's not what we're looking for.
Because a lot of the stuff that we've been doing anyway is going on our YouTube channel. So
Yeah,
I mean, it's, that's our own little TV space where we're in control.
Yeah. And it's been enjoyable, like really, really enjoyable. So moving on to the next question, because Carolyn Stoy said, question, first off, so proud of you, Doug.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Secondly, and this is for Doug, I know you quit smoking a while back, and that was thanks to Jamie. Just wondering, and no judgment, do you still vape?
I do still vape.
Like a lot. I feel like you vape a lot. And sometimes he does it in the house, and I'm like, you're going to give us lung cancer. Like, stop vaping. I told you no more vaping.
Yeah. I do. I don't have any plans to quit, other than it's a very low milligram. But yes, I'm a vapor.
He's a vapor. It's true. I never thought I was ever going to be with someone who smoked of any sort of capacity.
I'm a vapor.
And then I fell in love with this man over here, and I'm stuck with a smoker.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it does get weird when, I mean, Hendrix has tried to grab it a couple times, and he knows to put it up to his mouth. Like, that's
even when he was like 1 years old, he was like putting it, and I was like,
and that's just like, oh God. So I try to not leave it around, but that does give me kind of kick in the butt to say you probably should just stop.
The thing is that you have a very addictive personality. Like, that is your personality.
Yeah,
and so
one thing at a time.
Yeah, exactly. Like, give yourself some grace, take some time. You're kicking a real big habit right now. And so let that be your thing.
The true test of the Sublocade shot is going to be next month. Like, after, because I've been getting a shot once every 26 to 29 days. So it's really going to be
like
after,
if you go into withdrawals next month.
Well, yeah, just like after 30 days, what that's going to be like.
Well, that's good to know. Just
I think
in
it'll be
case.
fine. It'll be fine.
I think you'll be fine too. But it's good to know. We'll keep an eye on that, just in case you have, like, I don't know, cravings or something.
Yeah, I would let you know.
Okay, so Christy Lynn 9849 said Jamie has done an amazing job. She has turned out amazing from where she came from, and the struggle she had when she was younger, just as I had. I had same situations, but she has absolutely done amazing. I don't know where she found the strength. I wish I could have done that myself. That's just amazing. The reason that I wanted to, I screenshotted the questions so that I wouldn't lose them. And the reason I wanted to screenshot this, Christy Lynn, is because
there a question there?
It's not, but this was like a comment underneath the post that I said to like leave your questions.
Oh.
And the reason that I wanted to mention this was because I want to talk to you, Christy Lynn. Because you say, oh, Jamie had struggles and I don't know where she found the strength to overcome it. And I wish I could have that strength and do that. You still can. Christy Lynn, you still can get the strength. You can still beat whatever issue it is that you're going through. You still can. I have learned that no matter what age you are, you can still have dreams, you can still have goals, you can still reach for the stars, and you cannot, and like I absolutely repeat this and I cannot emphasize this much, you cannot diminish yourself or think that you don't have, you know, a chance anymore because you haven't gotten there yet. I don't care how old you are. You still can break the cycle. You can still reach your dreams. You can still make goals and reach those goals. I don't care how old you are. So Christy.
Preach on.
Yeah, no, but seriously.
Well, so let me ask you this though. Was there ever a point growing up where you just almost settled? Like, was there ever a time where you were just like, this is what it's going to be like. So, were you ever like comfortable, or did you ever not think of getting out?
Never. And that is the one thing I think that makes me different than someone else, is that I never, ever wanted to settle. And even when I thought settling was like my only option, I would kind of have to settle because I had no choice, but I would consistently be dreaming bigger and thinking of solutions and trying to problem solve, and not only just sitting there dreaming, but like, how can I actively take action? Like, what can I do to actually better myself? And so that is one piece of advice I would say for you, Christy, is, okay, maybe you've gotten into a rut where you feel like you have already like settled and you already can't get out. Well, the first step is changing your thought. Like, do not settle. Like, if you're not happy, if you feel like you didn't have the strength to break whatever cycle it was that you needed to break or go from, that's okay. Accept yourself, love yourself, give yourself grace for that, but then change that thought pattern, because absolutely everything starts with the power of your mind. So your thought of that you're not strong enough, well, then you're not going to be strong enough because you're telling yourself you're not strong enough. But if you start to think to yourself, and I mean, I'm trying this myself all the time because I've been real depressed and anxious for the past like few years, and I realized that like that kind of negative energy just breeds more negative energy. And I just became more and more depressed and anxious and insecure and feeling worthless and hopeless. And like,
you've been great lately.
And though that I've been going to church. I've been praying more. I've been meditating more.
You catch yourself now, and where it's just like and then you just start to breathe, or you think about what you're thankful for, and you change. And that is the hardest thing to do. But once you start doing it, and it's not going to happen overnight. Well, it sounds like you never lost sight of where you wanted to be. And you don't have to set like a finite limit. Like, I just want to be here.
This is the thing is,
it's almost like you never wanted to be where you were, which always kept you motivated and kept you going to reach bigger, better, or just different.
Yeah, just goals. And so I think if you're sitting here listening to this right now and you don't have a goal in mind or any sort of ambition, the first thing you can do to bring yourself a little bit of joy is to write down any goal. It could be short term. I think you should have a couple short term and a couple long term.
Something to accomplish.
But truly, and then every single day, like, envision yourself with that goal. For me right now, like when I'm at the gym, I've been going to the gym and I've been eating really healthy lately, and I've been meditating, and I'm envisioning, literally when I'm at the gym, I'll like picture myself pregnant with a healthy baby, and I'll picture myself being a good mom and a patient and a loving mom to Henley and Hendricks and being close with my husband. And then I'll picture myself, being meaningful to you listening and offering some sort of advice, and just like, I don't know, like I want to be like worthwhile living in this world. Like I want to leave the planet better than I came. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I just want to serve a purpose. And so I like just envision these things for myself every single time I'm at the gym, or before I go to bed. I try to envision that I'm actually helping other people, even though I'm not a nurse anymore. And someone threw a message in about nursing, and if I would ever want to go back to the bedside of nursing. And the thing is that I genuinely love people. I care for people deeply, and I want to help them. The problem with nursing, it was that, I got burned out. I mean, I was working night shift, 12-hour shifts, and sometimes that would bleed into 13 hours because you can't just leave if your patient's having her baby. And so it would bleed into real long
night
hours.
Shift was rough too.
It was rough. God bless all the nurses, truly. And so, I think I was a little scarred though, because I did, and I would pick up extra shifts all the time because I was trying to make money and save money. And so I just burned myself out. And just the job itself is, working in a hospital. I worked at a very, very busy hospital. And so needless to say, I miss the caring for someone. I miss seeing that, I like knowing after each day, like, how amazing is it to go in and know that you're actually helping someone every single time you go to work
in person.
Yeah, like you can see their face, and even if they're like angry because they're like hormonal and whatnot, and like they're laboring, you still know you cared for them, and you still know you're part of like an amazing. Like, it's just the best job. But I have now broadened my horizons to be able to reach more than just that one patient at the bedside. I want to reach thousands and thousands of women in particular. And I want to help them. I want to inspire them. I want to encourage them. Like Christy Lynn, I want to encourage you to not ever settle and to never think that you weren't strong enough to break whatever cycle you're in. Like, girl, you are strong enough. You still are. I don't care if you're 60 years old, you're still strong enough.
Start believing it.
You just got to start believing it. Yeah. So that was another question. And then here
for me, because I noticed too, and I want to give myself some grace, but also I've been wanting to go back to the gym for so long, and I'm just talking about it now, but it's more in my head now. Like I'm thinking about it daily, and kind of that's how my brain works, where anything that I've ever gotten into, it becomes a thought like, yeah, that would be cool. But like, I really am uncomfortable being skinny. Like I'm at 180 right now, which is 20 pounds less than where I want to be. And I'm thinking about the gym and working out every day now. And I know that I'm going to get there at some point, but yeah, that's the difference. But I still want to, and I'm going to, but right now it's just a thought in my head.
Okay, well, first of all, this is what I say to everyone on my course, Become Body Positive, and to myself, but to anybody who, has this type of issue. And obviously it's usually the opposite. They're trying to lose weight. Like just talking to your sister the other day, 'cause she was here and she was just saying how she's hoping to lose weight and whatnot. And I'm like, girl, like you can. And and the thing is that beating yourself up for whatever you're at right now is not helping you. It's not going to get you into that gym. It's not going to get you into a different lifestyle of like eating and treating yourself better. Like you got to literally love yourself right now at your 180 pounds and like really truly love yourself. And like when I'm talking about like how I'll like dream of like when I just like envision myself pregnant with our next baby and it's healthy and I'm trying to be a present mom, but still good to our 2 kids and like a good wife. For me, like part of it also is like loving my body. I mean, I am still 30 pounds overweight, and at one point I was the same weight as you. I was 180 pounds.
Yeah.
And but I had to learn to love myself as at my biggest ever before I ever was able to start to change those habits. Because if you're just beating yourself up, not like over and over nonstop, it doesn't give you any sort of inspiration or like motivation or power to be like, okay, I'll put the donut away and I'll choose an apple instead. I mean, that's like hard stuff to do. And for you, obviously,
for me, it's something that's on my mind always, like, especially in Florida where you can go swimming all the time. But it's not necessarily me beating myself up or not loving myself. It's what I'm starting to realize is I'm scared to let my body get old. Like I've been getting hurt, like my leg, my back, like I've just been getting hurt, and I feel like I've let my body become weak.
This is the best thing about bodies though, because it's so true. I mean,
and I don't want that. I don't want to be a frail person, because I never was. And I feel like some of the injuries that I've been getting now is because like I'm not as active as I was. I'm not using my muscles all the time. I'm not running. I'm not, like I felt so good playing tennis and moving and hitting and just being agile again. Because, there was I went almost 2 years without playing a single softball game. And trying to jump back to softball, it's frustrating because you lose a lot of the coordination. And I can't stand that when I go out to the field.
Yeah. Well, first of all, that's the first step is recognizing it. And second step is to know that you can change that. Like even you're 40, but you are in like, also, man, gratitude goes such a long way because I can't help but think about Sarah, you know, who is a friend that I made from Instagram, and
she's in a battle.
She's in a battle with ovarian cancer, and you know, today I just texted her and I asked her how she was, and this is the first time she's ever said this. Usually she goes, "I'm great," you know, even though she has, you know, she's going through chemo and all sorts of treatment to try to like beat this cancer. Today she goes, "I'm tired," and I'm like, dang. And so every time I think about, I don't know, like being like, even at the gym, I often think about Sarah at the gym too. And I just like pray for her that she has strength and that she's not in pain, because she's constantly in pain. And, you know, that, I mean, I just think about her child, and I hope that they can have moments together where they, you know, can bond, because when I saw her last for her birthday, she literally said, "I'm dying." And she's literally 40 years old, the same exact age as you, Doug. And she has a little one and she is dying. And it's obviously the worst thing in the whole wide world that no one would want. And so the first thing I think that even she should do, all of us should do, is be thankful for our bodies right now. And so it's way easier for us to be thankful because we're not in pain. No. Our legs are working. We don't have cancer. We don't have a disease. We are so fortunate. And so if you can start off with that gratitude of being so thankful and feeling that fortunate. And I would say that though, even to Sarah, the fact that her body hasn't failed her, like she is really, like she wanted to come to her 40th birthday party, and
she did it.
The doctor told her that they recommended hospice like 2 weeks before her 40th birthday party. She still went to that 40th birthday party. So if she could lead with gratitude, like thanking her body for not failing her, because she had that goal for her 40th birthday party and she did it. And then her next goal, you know, right after we sang happy birthday to her, you were just chatting around the table, and she said, you know, she really wants to be able to see her son off to kindergarten. Man, this is going to get me going, but because it's really so sad for me. And, you know, yeah, this is just really hard, but her biggest goal right now is to make sure that she gets to see her son go off to kindergarten for his first day. And it's like, wow, like she just wants to stay alive that long. And so for you and me, and for you listening, you know, for Doug and I, and for you listening, it's like, you know, no matter what our circumstances are, we have something to be thankful for. And even Sarah would say, like, she is so thankful she's here because she's going to see her son to go to kindergarten, you know, like she's going to see her boy make it to kindergarten. And that's something to be thankful for. It really is, because someone else may have lost their life prior to that. And so we have to constantly lead with gratitude, and that gives you the strength to keep going. So,
I think that's a good place to end.
Yeah, that's a good, I just got real deep there real fast, but it's so true though. It's really so true.
Yeah, it does put things in perspective.
Yeah. There was one last question that I have pulled up, and it was from cool.christina. And she said, do you have any recommendations for keeping intimacy alive during a dry spell or period of difference in libido? Well, geez, Christina, gosh.
Masturbation.
Well, okay, slow down, partner. Jeez Louise.
No, I'll refer to our last episode, Never TMI, with Seth and Jacqueline Gibson. They schedule it.
Yeah, and scheduling it is so important, because having sex in your marriage, and my son, I can hear my kids right outside our door.
It is very difficult to be on the same page, in the mood together at the same time. Nowadays, our therapist said that it is common and normal for a married couple to never be on the same page. Like even kids or no kids, but especially with kids. But scheduling it does put a little flair into
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And, you know, so I've got to tell you that we haven't really had impromptu sex in a long time. Like it's been, you know.
Or you can do what I do. I walk out in just a wife beater, no pants on, and do my dance. And immediately Jamie's like, come in bed.
That is not true.
I do a little helicopter move and
He
jump
has
in
done
bed.
that a few times, but I'm not like, ooh, come in bed.
Like, wow, okay.
No, but scheduling it is so important, and it's normal for you, first of all, for your hormones. I don't know where you're at with children and stuff like that, but after I had both my babies, I had issues in the libido department, and that's so normal. And it took me hearing that from a therapist and doctors to realize that I'm not like broken or something. Cause I'm like, what's wrong with me? Like, why am I could never have it again. I felt like, and I'd be okay. And
I wouldn't.
Yeah, no. And this one over here is like, well, wait a minute here. What's going on? So I just want you to know that that is normal, and scheduling it is honestly a great way to go about it. It sounds weird, but it's kind of like, I don't know, arranged marriages sound weird.
It's quirky and fun.
It is. And honestly, it gets you excited.
Yeah.
Or if you know that that's like the day to do it, you know, to get your kids to bed and get going early. You know what I mean? Because
speaking of that, we have to put our kids to bed now.
Yes, we do. So we're going to let you go, but
we do have some questions saved over though. So I think we can save it for another episode.
Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'll probably pop out another post on Instagram to get any more questions that you may have, because I feel like this has been a really great podcast. I really enjoyed it. And I feel
Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for your reviews. And we are thankful for you.
Yeah. And I feel like we are connecting with you, and I like that. So anyways, hope you have a great week, and we will talk to you next week.
See ya.
Bye. We love you.
Bye.